Exciting news for people who live in a part of the city that's long been neglected. A stretch of Joseph E. Lowery Boulevard about to get a major makeover. Atlanta News First reporter Rebecca Schramm live on Atlanta's west side for us. And Rebecca, that corridor will soon look very different.
That's right, Rick. You know, in recent years, we've shown people what the city's trying to do in terms of bringing some of these older neighborhoods up to date, not just in terms of traffic flow, but also in terms of beautification and perhaps most importantly, for the safety of those who walk, take the bus, and ride bicycles around here. There we go. All right. Mayor Andre Dickens helps break ground on a project to revitalize part of what's known as Old Atlanta. Joseph E. Lowery Boulevard, formerly known as Ashby Street, serves as a connector for several in-town Atlanta neighborhoods.
This is just one of the many infrastructure projects that we have at ATL DOT.
This project will include upgraded sidewalks, better lighting, more crosswalks with flashing lights, drainage improvements, and landscaping upgrades all along Lowery Boulevard from Mitchell Street to Hollowell Parkway. Atlanta's Transportation Commissioner Solomon Cavanis tells me it's a nearly $7 million project funded by a special 1% sales tax voters approved 8 years ago. It's finally happening, but with better safety in mind.
The impetus of this program is safety. So our Vision Zero program action plan kicked off last week, and we're looking to get all serious injuries due to crashes and deaths down to zero by the year 2040.
City Council member Byron Amos joined members of the Lindsay Street Baptist Church in celebrating the project, which aims to let drivers, pedestrians, and bicyclists share the road safely.
You see how fast they go down the streets, flying like this. But if you put bike lanes over there, that's going to help because they'll ride in the street, but you slow down for them.
And the commissioner tells me the improvement project, with all of its various upgrades, is expected to last about 2 years. Live in Northwest Atlanta, Rebecca Schramm, Atlanta News First.